What's up, Delvers? Got another extra treat for you today. Second interview, pre-recorded segment. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the last one. I'm your host, Alex the Shark Sparks, joined by a very special guest and now two-time father of the year, I suppose. Give it up for Break Top Shelf Sparks. Break, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Is this pre-recorded just to filter out any profanity, or what's the thought there?
No, it just means it's not like part of the actual live podcast. Like if I choose to play clips of this on the podcast, like that it's not live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. No, profanity's fine. It's YouTube. We'll live. No one watches but us anyway.
Okay.
So welcome in. I don't know if you ever actually listened to our podcast, but glad to have you here. Anyway.
I have. I've heard a lot of smack talk on the podcast.
Oh, okay, well then perfect. Yeah, well, you're not just getting smack talk by the pod. I made the comment about Kaya being born just in time for the draft to help you, and Lisa said you needed all the help you could get.
Wow. And where did she say that one?
Well, because I was just texting her congratulations or something. I was talking to her about being sick because I've been sick, and then asking how she was doing and whatnot.
Look.
And then I was like, yeah, at least now he has time to prep for the draft. And she's like, no, he'll start his prep 10 minutes beforehand. I was like, okay.
It's tough. It's tough with a 2-day-old at the time. But let me ask you this: I'm just going through my warm-up seasons, right? Like we're not even into the deep part of the doctors
still
doing
warming up. I mean, it's only season 22, so you're still loose.
Yeah,
up.
I mean, for all we know, there could be 100 seasons, right? This is barely much the early.
And
the other thing is,
have you had the excuse of 2-day-old for every draft for the last 21 years, or
yes?
Okay.
Yes, I've always had a 2-day-old. I've just usually got rid of them. These ones I intend to keep.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's why you've never heard of the other ones.
Sure.
Also, this year, last year, deployed a new strategy. Didn't work out for me. This year, I've deployed a new advanced strategy, and we'll see how that goes. Right. So this could be the year for the Flying Penguins.
Okay. Well, so don't tell me about the new advanced strategy yet. So what was the new strategy last year that did not work out?
So last year the strategy was, right, so last year we were going off strength of schedule, right? The idea was if everyone on my team was playing a bunch of easy teams based on their schedule strength, that should theoretically mean they get more points.
Sure.
Obviously didn't quite work out for me. That being said, it wasn't the worst year, right? I think I was a game or two off the playoffs. So
in the beginning of the season, we actually really liked your team, and we actually made that pie bet based on me thinking there'd be more Sparks in the playoffs than Blacks. And unfortunately, I fumbled the bag the final week of the season, or else I would have won that bet, even with you not making the playoffs. But
fair enough.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: the CBS Fantasy Auto Writer gave me an A+ on my draft. I do often get good draft scores by the people. Usually, people are like, "Wow, Adam had a good draft." Rarely works out for me. I have made the playoff a couple of times. I think I made the Super Bowl one time. Did I ever make the Super Bowl?
I don't think you have, but maybe. But
look at that, A+.
But I will say,
I
also had an A+. So yeah, props.
How does Aussies have a higher score but a worse grade?
Yeah, so it's based on points available. So like I did the best in the league. I drafted 84% of points available to me at my draft position. So Austin may not have drafted all the points available to him, so he only got an A, but he had more points available to him than us, so his overall projected points is still higher. It is worth noting that the CBS rankings are janky as hell.
I was about to say.
So the fact that we got rated highly doesn't necessarily mean we did well. Also, you heard me call you, Break Top Shelf Sparks. The reason I call you Top Shelf is one of the things you were known for is drafting off the top of the list. So,
I hear that a lot, but I rarely draft off the top of the list. I look at the top few on the top of the list. I usually cross-reference with other sites. The challenge being, as you know, our league is a little different. So cross-referencing is not as helpful without deep knowledge of the league.
That's true.
But I cross-reference other non-PPR sites, look at the top of the list, and then I read their little note, and then from there I go off vibes from there. And usually it works out all right. I rarely lose seasons because my draft is poor. I lose seasons because I don't have the depth of knowledge halfway through, nor the care, to do enough analysis in trades. And usually when I'm getting offered trades by the likes of the Avengers and Team Phoenix, I don't trust those guys, right? So I never know what they're trying to trade me. They're always like, this is a great trade, you should take it. But if it's such a great trade, why are you offering me the trade? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'd have to give you props for self-awareness, because that's literally the exact analysis we gave of your team in our draft review last week, or earlier this week, I guess, was we think you have a good team. The problem's going to be when bye weeks and injuries happen, you're going to be terrible at the waivers, and that's where you're going to fall apart. So
sure.
I think you're very self-aware about what your issue is.
Look,
But,
there's a level of investment in the DoD League, right? And on that spectrum, I'm not too far to the right, and so that's where the challenge comes in. That being said, again, I did deploy a different strategy this year, right? Maybe we'll just use that strategy throughout the season, and we'll see if it changes it up.
Yeah, so we're gonna go down the draft here and take a look at your picks before we look at your team as a whole. So let's start with that. My first question was going to be, did you have a strategy coming into the draft, and if so, what was it? Sounds like you did. So what is your new advanced strategy this year?
So first off, my strategy going into the draft was, oh crap, we have to draft today. I hope I can get both of the babies asleep so that I can do the draft. That was the number one thing on my mind.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So I was not reading magazines or Googling things at the time. That being said, coming into it, I was like, all right.
I imagine there's not a lot of people reading magazines in 2025, though. To be fair,
you never know. You never know. I remember going back to the days of staying up, and it was 11 o'clock in Alaska, and the sun was still out, and me and my brother, Alex the Shark Sparks, was going over the draft order.
Yeah.
That was our first season of DoD.
And I swear we had the draft order
down to like round 4, like exact. Do what?
We were like sitting there with a notebook trying to figure out who was going where. Yeah, no, I remember that. And it's funny you mentioned magazines because like news happens every day, in the NFL. And like, you'd buy a magazine that had been on a shelf for a month and use those ratings. It's wild how much things have come forward since then. But all right, so let's hear the
strategy for this year, right? So really, I've just got on the AI hype train this year, right? I'm very much like CEOs at an earnings call and just say AI a bunch of times. I see these in corporate meetings all the time myself. So my thought was, hey, we'll just use AI and ask AI a bunch of questions. And ideally, setting up AI with the fact that, hey, here's how my league works, right? And here's the nonsense we do, maybe can have them give me some better analysis. Now, do I trust her whatsoever? No. That being said, there's a shot, right? There's a shot.
There is a shot. And let's start by talking about your first round pick here. So
sure.
For those who have done research, the first 5 picks are pretty much clear cut across the board in any non-PPR league. These are going to be the first 5. So it is interesting that you took 1 minute and 27 seconds to pick yours.
Well,
what was the deal there?
Let me tell you guys what's on the mind of someone who doesn't, right? If this was fantasy, other things, I'd be great at it. The challenge is I have to sit there and be like, let me make sure that there's not something about this guy everyone else knows, and that CBS hasn't ranked him high, but he's not going to play this year or something, or he just got in a car crash 2 weeks ago. So that's why I always panic on these first picks, because I heard you guys talking about how, oh man, the first picks are so obvious. But the thing I'm terrified about is I always pick someone, and like 3 minutes or like 10 seconds later, someone will be like, oh my gosh, you picked that guy? I know this has happened to me before, a couple seasons ago. It's probably like 5 years ago now, but certainly one of my high round picks, we were like, you guys know he's out for season, right? So that kind of was what I'm always panicking about. So I had to do some research to make sure that was the right choice. I didn't trust Christian McCaffrey. I don't trust people get hurt. That's another one of my strategies. If anyone ever gets hurt, I'd never want them in my draft.
No, I definitely think you make the right. I think Gibbs. I think 99 out of 100 people that actually play fantasy football legitimately, and in a standard league like this, would have taken Jahmyr Gibbs at that pick. So I think you hit a home run. I did just think it was funny, when you look at how fast all the other picks in this round were, because pretty much everyone knew where they were going until you get down to me and Miles, because we were towards the tail end. Like the fact that you took 1.5 minutes to take the obvious windmill slam pick is just kind of interesting.
Fair enough.
All right. So let's move on down to the second round. So you mentioned AI on this Jalen Hurts pick. This one you had queued up. You took it within seconds. There was a huge quarterback run in the second round.
This was not an AI. This was a vibe feeling. Okay. The quarterback run was gone, and I did not. Here's what I want to avoid. All right, I've played seasons where I don't have a beefly quarterback, and that does not work out too well. Right? I think we talked about it during the draft game.
Yeah.
When every time you play, the other team's quarterback's going to drop 40, and you're hoping your quarterback gets 15. That's when you know you're having a bad season. So I was like, when this quarterback ran happened, I didn't know it was going to end. I had to get in there, and I had to grab someone who made sense. So I probably leveraged AI to make sure that Jalen Hurts wasn't a terrible pick. But I felt the quarterback run pressure.
Yeah, I mean, he's most people you're on board so far. Most people have these as the big 5, not necessarily in this order, but Burrow, Allen, Jackson, Daniels, and Hurts are considered the big 5, and you got one of them. So far so good. I mean, you're 2 picks in, and I'd say you're drafting like a champ so far. But let's see if you can keep the train rolling.
Sure.
Down to the third round. Okay, this Puka Nacua. Now this pick is fine. We'll get to a pick that's not so fine later, but
sure.
Puka again, another snap decision. Is this
also not off the top? So your off the top label is incorrect, right? This was actually there was probably like 4 or 5 guys ranked ahead of him as far as CBS goes when I picked this guy. I think.
Which is ironic because any other website would have had this guy be the top guy remaining. So, but yeah,
exactly.
Sure,
See, this is the uphill battle I fight. Right, I'm cross-referencing other websites and now leveraging Copilot to help me do this to make sure that I can trust the CBS rankings. The problem is, as we talked about earlier, the other websites maybe don't think about the same things we're worrying about here. So
is this where you pulled AI in to help then?
I think I leveraged ESPN's non-PPR rankings as well on this one a little bit.
Sure.
Also, they had a pretty sweet name. I feel like that's a good name.
Yeah, well, and I was going to ask, like, do you know who that is because he plays in LA? Like,
I do not.
Okay.
So, you think I'm going to cheer for the LA Rams? I'm already agreeing with this.
No, but I mean, I don't know. It's just an LA team. All right. But yeah, no, Puka obviously solid choice. Yeah, he's considered to be especially in PPR, he's great. I mean, this isn't PPR, but I still think he's a great pick. So again, I'm loving your team so far. Let's go down here. This is where I think it goes off the rails to me.
All right, lay it on me.
Your fourth round pick is Devontae Adams, wide receiver. Do you know why that's a problem?
Because he's also on the Rams.
He is also on the Rams. You have
that's
both.
Right.
Your number one and number two wide receivers play for the same football team.
both of the wideouts?
Yes. So,
okay, well, look.
So you need Matt Stafford to light it up in every game this season.
I mean, Matt Stafford.
Have the Rams fall apart.
Did he used to play for the Lions? Is that guy?
He did, and he's won a Super Bowl with the Rams. But he also currently has a back injury. So
That's all right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I will say this did go against my preaching that I did during the draft day, but everyone and their mother in the draft day was hedging their bets, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, I'm hedging my bets. I'm hedging my bets." I think that's a coward's move. A good example is like Austin hedging his happiness bets and not picking Broncos. That way he's happy if the Broncos win and he's happy with his fantasy team. I like to be an all-in kind of guy. I would pick all Broncos. Then when the Broncos win and my fantasy team wins, right, you get higher highs and lower lows. It's kind of life I'm trying to live here. That being said, clearly I've gone against my...
If you had gone like Rams QB, Rams wide receiver, Rams running back, I could see that. But taking both wide receivers, that's a big ask. That's a big order.
You have to admit, though, I live basically close enough to LA that I could cheer for them as the home team. And when Matt Stafford's lighting it up, I'm having a good day.
But I did just that was
definitely my strategy and not something I just completely overlooked.
And you said no, so...
No.
But yeah, so that pick's suspect.
The AI is only as good as the info you feed it, and I don't think it thought this one through.
All right, so yeah, we're going to go from what I consider to be one of probably your worst picks. Again, not because Devontae Adams is bad, but just because you had Puka. So I think this one might have been one of your worst picks. To one of your best picks, someone who is definitely not off the top of the list, Tony Pollard. He was nowhere near the top of the list when you took him, and I think that's a great pick. Only took you 4 seconds, so I'm guessing you were preparing during the Cameron 2-minute pick. You had lots of times where Cameron was taking an eternity, and you had plenty of time to do
I always do my picks. I'm not a slow picker, right? You see me pick slow in the first round. Once then, I'm deep in the pool researching my picks. Yeah, I knew I needed. I think I went. I also hate having bad. I'm so tired of having people who don't get points, right? I hate having a second running back or a second wideout that doesn't get points.
Right.
So I think that's why I went wideout first before running back this time. But yeah, I think this probably was maybe one of my more AI ESPN driven decisions because certainly the deeper I go away from the top, the more external resources I have used to make that pick.
For sure. Yeah. Just because when we were all shocked on the Zoom when you made this pick, not because it was a bad pick. I think it's a great pick. It's probably the best running back left in my estimation when you took him, but it's just like surprising because he was not towards the top of the list when you took him.
It's actually coming back to me now. One of the things that I hate about running backs, even though this might not the actual performance might not reflect this, I don't like running backs that don't play a lot, even if they get a bunch of points because they're like the goal line back. I don't like it. You like. I
mean, I'm the same way.
I want starters who get a lot of carries. I don't know if this is that guy, but I remember researching like some of the top guys were like they're the number one go-to back, and that's why they're projected all these points. And I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, his backup is on the injury list. Is not even allowed to play the first 4 weeks of the season. So.
I'm an OG, right? My football days are 20 years ago when running backs got all the carries.
That was your heyday. It was 20 years ago.
I don't like this whole I got 17 different running backs on my team, and sometimes I give it to this guy, and you got to know all these people.
Yeah, mainly because you have to know all the people. That's the problem, right?
That is exactly the problem.
All right, we move right along here. Xavier Worthy, I think that's a good pick. I mean, Patrick Mahomes' #1 target, at least for the first 6 weeks of the season, and we'll see what happens from there.
Sure.
That was an AI-based pick, or...
this one did take a little longer. 6? Is that my third wideout? I went third wideout?
Yeah, this is your third wideout, and this pick, like you said, you've been picking pretty quick. 30 seconds. I think this might be the second slowest pick.
I was considering Bo Nix here, or maybe that would have been after. Yeah, I was thinking about going it there. I want to say one thing that bugs the hell out of me is I always want to get a good kicker, get defense early, right?
Okay.
But I also happen to know that statistically that probably doesn't win as much championships as I'd like. So I go and I get the third best wide receiver. No, it's like the amount of analysis happening now that we're getting into third wideouts and third running backs is pretty low. I basically just want to make sure it's someone who's going to play again. I try to look up and make sure there's someone who actually gets the ball a lot and not, hey, you hope they get it for a touchdown and that's the only reason they exist.
Yeah, the reason we rated your team highly is because we're saying, okay, he's going to bench one of the Rams receivers and start this guy. So I think it worked out.
I mean, hey, maybe I trade him, right? Actually, I'll tell you, the reason I made that pick up there is it's just trade bait, right? I'm trying to see who offers me a good trade this time. Someone's missing a wideout.
So you're looking to trade Xavier Worthy and keep the 2 Rams wide receivers?
No, I'm going to trade one of the Rams guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it was I'm more looking to trade for where am I slacking? Maybe my defense and running back are slacking. I do a little trade up there.
Next level look into the future. I gotcha.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's again, AI is just smarter than you, so we're just
that's
we're
what
thinking
it is.
these things through.
All right. Speaking of AI, it's Skynet's birthday today.
Hawkinson.
Yeah. Well, that's what
is it? Nice.
Skynet's birthday was August 29th, according to the Terminator lore.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Hawkinson picked up the tight end.
Yep.
No complaints there.
Yeah, it was pretty much like I wanted a tight end earlier. He was pretty much the best one left from everything I could find out at that time. I don't know if that's true or not in your opinion, but I couldn't really find a good reason not to take him.
Yeah, no, he's super highly rated. I just think it's crazy how much Kelsey has fallen. Like, this is a guy who was a first or second round pick for years and years and years, and then after last year, he now went in the 7th round.
One true. I thought about Kelsey, but unironically, the whole Taylor Swift marriage thing, I don't think he's going to have the hunger anymore. And I also thought his Super Bowl performance was disappointing, right?
So you think once he landed a billionaire wife that he can dial back the intensity?
Yeah, I mean, picture this guy's life now, right? Like, football practice is probably not that big a deal. I'm sure it is still a big deal to him, but I just he's not out there grinding. Hawkinson, I hope, is out there grinding. Maybe Hawkinson lands Christina Aguilera, and that changes.
All right, we'll see what happens for him. Okay, let's move to the next round here. Okay, this is another pick that I take it back. This pick may be worse than Devonta Adams.
Hold on, wait. Why did I spend 2 minutes 32 seconds to get this guy? This doesn't seem right.
Yeah, so you spent 2.5 minutes, which is one of the longest picks in the draft, outside of Cameron, who takes care of every pick.
I must have had to do something with the baby. What?
Yeah. Well, and just so we're clear, he's not just on IR. The GM has straight up said they don't know if he'll play this year. So
I don't remember taking this one.
In the 8th round, you took a guy.
I want a review of that. Do you have the video of the draft? I want a review.
I did not video the draft, but yeah, that pick is suspect because we don't know if he's going to play football this year. He's a great player. He played great last year when he played, but yeah, the Texas general manager declined to answer in affirmative when asked if he would play this season. So not looking great for you. Not looking great.
Interesting. I honestly, does it not show? I can't imagine I would ever pick someone on IR. Even when I see the little questionable sign, I don't pick people. So this is surprising to me. Whatever. It's a backup. Yeah, I didn't really need my 8th round pick. 8th round picks are overrated.
He is technically on the short-term IR. Like, he is eligible to return week 5, but no one thinks that's going to happen. But yeah, I just thought, if this was a 10-second pick, okay, sure, you took off, a guy who's rated high and it's a weird rating, right? But this was a 2.5 minute
something
pick.
Must have happened here because I don't remember waiting 2.5 minutes to pick, and certainly not to pick whoever the heck this is. So my guess is something was happening in the real world while I was doing this pick.
I do find it hilarious.
That's my only good. What is it?
I can't help but find it hilarious that you've been playing fantasy football for over 20 years and you don't know who Joe Mixon is.
I mean, I recognize the name.
He's been in the league for 9 years. He's been an RB1 for 9 years. This isn't like some scrub, and just don't even know who it is. It's funny to me.
Look, in my head, it's Peyton Manning, Priest Holmes.
Sure.
Those are the guys that matter.
Yeah, those guys. Go ahead and draft them both this year. I'll do great. All right, Eagles D, obviously, going defense.
Yeah, I was disappointed in myself that I really like to get Ds and kickers earlier, so I was very disappointed having to wait all the way this deep. Obviously, maybe I would have gone earlier, but it doesn't look like any Ds went since I picked Joe Mixon.
This is still the number 1 rated D,
I know,
according to CBS. Probably, but definitely top 5 defense. I think most people will consider this. So
yeah, I like having a high defense. Because one of the ways I win games, other than either getting beefy quarterbacks, is defense is always kind of getting me over the bar.
Yeah, if you have the right defense, like the Broncos D last year, that scored 1 million points, you can definitely make some waves with the. Obviously this is projected, but they're projected to score 250 points. That's round 2 running back levels.
That's why, I mean, this is why the strategy has to differ based on what you do and what you know, right? Because the reason I like to have high-performing kickers and defenses is because, like, I know my third-string running back and wideout is not going to be as good as most of your guys, right? I just don't know enough about the people.
Right.
So, like, the way I make up for that is, like, yeah, there's definitely going to be, like, halfway through the season, I'm going to have buys. I'm not going to have buys. And I'm going to have, like, my second running back's going to give me, like, 6 points every damn game. But then my defense drops like 25 half the games, and it makes up for it. That's how I kind of sneak into some of those playoffs. That's my strategy.
I mean, it is interesting to learn that you actually do have a strategy, and you're not just shooting from the hip. So, I mean, kudos for that. Both.
There is some method to the madness.
All right, fair enough. And then your kicker, everyone enjoyed this pick just because we got to make fun of
that. 100% low research. I just had to pick it, and then Vinny made the joke I was going to make before I had the chance to.
Your joke got sniped. Your joke got sniped.
But I was glad that other people were thinking the same thing.
For sure. Herbert, you pick up a backup quarterback here. I assume that's just in case.
Yeah, I went early backup just because, again, I saw the QB run. I saw the second QB run happening, and I was like, let me get some value. This was actually less of a pick to help me and more of a pick to screw up other people.
So Austin was actually the last person to take a quarterback. He did not have a quarterback on his team until he took, and then he went double QB, and he took Drake May and Jared Goff.
In that case, then it was, to hurt some other. I mean, we're round 11, right? So it's like the people. This is truly off the top for me. I'm Googling to make sure they're not an IR. Apparently not well enough, and then I'm picking the people.
Fair enough.
Who else we got?
All right, Keon Coleman. Actually, people really like this pick. I take it back. People were split on this pick. Some people were like, "Oh, I was going to take him," and other people were like, "Oh, I think there's too many mouths to feed in Buffalo." So, yeah.
Well, you never see that too many mouths to feed is dangerous on your first or second rideouts, right? But on your third and fourth, halfway through the season when I'm going to start needing this guy, maybe he's the guy that they're feeding, right? Yeah. Maybe he's the fat guy.
No,
so there we go.
And on a similar note, I think this is a really good pick. I mean, as it stands, Cleveland drafted a running back early in the draft to be their starter. He has not signed a contract yet, so he's not even with the team. So Ford is currently the starter, and Ford was not good last year. There's a good chance that this guy overtakes him, and come halfway through the season, this might be the starting running back for the Cleveland Browns. So pretty good to go.
There's a chance, and I was actually thinking about some of that. Some of these, I know I picked one guy who was like, he might be the starter if the stars align, and I was like, that could be a good late pick.
Yeah,
because maybe it makes up for my Joe Mixon guy.
Yeah, that definitely makes up. Yeah, it's like the Texans, the Browns, the Redskins, and the Cowboys are kind of the Jaguars. Those 5 teams, like, no one knows for sure who the starter is going to be. And so Dylan Sampson could be the starter in Cleveland. Whether or not that happens, whether or not that's valuable, no way to know. But I think it's pretty good, a good shot in the dark pick, because this is one of those things that could be a league winner if it works out. So, all right, and then finally your last pick, Isaac Guerrero. Yep.
I didn't understand this guy because
I don't understand the pick either. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, my guess is the analysis on him isn't so great. He's like a backup to McCaffrey, but I'm guessing he isn't since no one was picking him.
He is the third string to McCaffrey, yeah. So.
Well, McCaffrey's going to get hurt, so that means he's a second string running back for San Fran. So whatever. Right. I mean, this is the kind of guy you drop when you
San Francisco literally just traded for Brian Robinson, and after being on the team for 3 days, the coach came out and said Brian Robinson is our number 2 running back. So he wasted no time in putting Isaac Guerrero in his place.
Look. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? You never know. Yeah. That being said, worth noting, the second I got to pick up a backup for a buy, it's this guy who's getting kicked off the team. So don't worry about that too much. Fair
enough. Yeah, I mean, I would honestly, even now, you might consider looking on waivers for somebody for Guerrero, but do you? All right, let's go ahead and look at your roster then. So now that we've seen the actual draft itself,
right?
How do you feel?
By the way, the computer rated.
The computer rated it an A+. I'll give you that.
Right. That's what matters.
Do you rate it now that your team has come together? Now that you see everything all together, how do you feel about your team? Are you happy with it? Are you worried about it? What are your thoughts?
The best way I like to review it. Here's the real way to review it. Right. So the season starts on September 4th. Is that correct?
Yes. Thursday.
So the way who's right. Right. It's not about what the boys say in Zoom. It's not about what the computer relates. It's when you look at your trend and you look at how many people are rostering it and how many people are starting, right? You want lots of hundreds on there. So I don't have a lot of hundreds, which is concerning, right? That's kind of what you want to worry about. If you got positions where you've got people who are low roster percent and low start percent happening on your team, that's where you might have some concern. So I feel okay with this. Have a decent amount of roster. The starting could be better. So I would say I give myself a solid. Not my best draft ever. I've felt better, but I do feel confident going into the season.
Fair enough. And full disclosure, week 1, are you starting double Rams or are you starting Xavier Worthy over one of those guys?
This is now that new information has come to my attention. So here's the challenge, right? So if I look at Xavier, right? He's at 94.71, right? This is my strategy when I go to start these guys.
Right.
And I look at these guys, they're both high. Now, presumably those people aren't starting set two at the same time.
Right.
They're playing Houston. It's a home game. Man, first game at home in LA.
They are, and they're both projected to score more than Xavier Worthy. It is worth noting.
I mean, I'd probably just go with it, right?
We
just trust the system. Yeah. But we'll see. It might be a game day decision.
Are you going to hold Mixon until week 5, hoping that he actually does play this season?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm committed, right? If I drop him now, people will know I made a mistake. So I'll have to just keep him on here and hope they don't listen to the pod.
Hope they don't listen to the pod so they don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. And,
I still don't understand. There's no way in hell, if it had an IR next to their name, that I would have picked him. Something must have been going on.
I mean, he definitely at the very least had a plus sign. I don't know. Let's see if it says
what
day he was put on IR.
Whatever.
Yeah, he was put on IR on the 26th, and we did our draft on the 26th. So yeah, he was definitely on. Wait, no, did we draft on Tuesday? Yeah, we drafted on Tuesday.
It was on the 26th, but you think that this would have updated within hours?
Yeah, this was posted at 6:20 Eastern time. We didn't draft until the 27th.
I want to see
in
the
morning at 1
Release
a.m.
the tapes.
Eastern time.
Release the files.
So yeah, this guy was definitely already on IR when you drafted.
Go shenanigans.
All right.
I want to review that.
I have one last comment. I really hope I play you week 8 because that's when 3 of your players have a bye, including both.
Not only the 3 players, it's also like my first 3 picks.
Yeah,
I was like all in.
3 of your first 4 picks have a bye week 8. So now I just kind of want to know who gets the free basket week 8.
You think that? You think it's a free basket?
Who?
I said you think it's a free basket, but you never know.
I mean, we already talked about your weaknesses picking up backups and playing the waiver wire.
So. Yeah, but let's see who I have. You never know. Everyone could just land. We could all be winners. Week 8 is...
Week 8? Oh, that's not me, dang. It's Luis. Revis. Dang it. It's my division. Come on. I need you to win anyway.
Winnable.
You're at least the home team, right? You're the home team that week, so...
That's true. I'll have home field advantage.
All right. Well, did you have any final thoughts about your team or any comments you wanted to make?
Any thoughts or comments? No. I mean, this is just another year that the Integrity Division will once again shine their light on the world.
Shine their light? The Integrity Division that has 2 championships in 22 years?
How do I see the... How do we see... No, I was going to think. I'm pretty sure I destroyed Vinny in the opening game last year. I just don't remember. I usually start against Vinny.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to see scores from last year. It was giving me issues. Oh,
I'm just going to assume I've always beat Vinny in the opener, and that will continue this year. So that's what I expect to happen.
I'd be happy to see that. Hey, one last question. Actually, I forgot. So, who do you assuming you make the Super Bowl? Because I'm going to assume you're all in on you.
Yeah, I'll win.
Who do you think you will play in the Super Bowl? Meaning, who do you think is the next best team besides yourself?
It's not about who is the next best team. It's who do I think I'll play, right? So
right, who do you think is going to make it to the Super Bowl? So, with your expert fantasy analysis, or I don't know, feed the roster.
Yeah, it's not about. You know what? This is Austin. Austin's going to make the Super Bowl this year.
All right, Austin.
Mainly, he's on top of the page. People like his draft to a degree, and I feel like he's overdue for one.
Yeah, I mean, I think his team's pretty good. I think you just got to switch these 2 names, and I think he'll be pretty good. We'll see. Yeah, I think there are a lot of good teams this year. Like I said, I like your team. I do. I mean, obviously the
I always do.
The Garindo Mixon picks are sketch, and then obviously the double Rams wide receiver is a bold choice. But hey, they're both projected to do well, and if they both meet their projections, then it's the right choice, I suppose, right? So
yeah, that's
we'll see what happens. All right, well, thanks so much for joining us. Hope the people out there listened. Say goodbye to everybody.
Adios. See you in the Super Bowl.